And so begins another episode of the Inspired Disorder Podcast. With our hosts, Ray Taylor and Keith Spurlock. Disorder starts now.
Bam! I am Ray Taylor, and I'm joined by Keith. How you doing, Keith?
How are you, Ray? I'm doing great.
Good. I am good. And we are also joined by Mike Czar. How do you pronounce your last name? Is it just
Czar?
Just go
Czar,
by Czar.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
There's a silent S. There's a silent S. It throws people.
Yeah. Well, I get thrown off very easily. Keith knows. I don't names.
Yeah.
It's like I must be allergic to them. Mentally allergic to names because I suck at names.
But also it's Polish, and Polish last names, they're always so ridiculous. I don't know, like where you're California, right?
Yeah.
Is there a big like you get like weird, like I have a friend named Zahovich, and it's spelled like ZYCHOWICZ. It's like someone just threw up letters.
I think you just hacked my brain with that. I think that was
like what the fuck?
That was like a contra
I was
code.
trying to spell it along with him,
Yeah,
but
I didn't
lost it halfway through. I'm like, what?
Right.
Yeah, I think if that name was on, like a Sesame Street thing where they flash the different letters as they're spelling it, you would see who has like epilepsy in the audience. Yeah, this new form of verbal epilepsy. So you are a comic out in Ohio.
Yes.
Is that correct? And you've done some shows, the Comedy at the Q shows with Keith Spurlock.
No, I've done it three times or four times now, I think.
Yeah, something like that. A couple of them you just showed up to, and I was like, hey,
showed up.
Just stops in, it's like Dave Chappelle for Keith's show.
Right. I wish.
So when did you start doing comedy or stand up?
About a year and a half ago,
Nice.
probably now.
So you and Keith started. Keith, how long have you been doing it? Just about a year?
A little over a year.
Yeah. That's crazy. So what inspired you to get on the stage and make it happen?
I think just not knowing what else to do. I don't know. Did you hit, like, I feel like I hit that point. Like, I have a film degree, but what the fuck am I going to do with that? Like, I feel like I went to college and I graduated. And I feel like a lot of people, I'm about 24, so there's a lot of people in my age group I feel this is true for. But a lot of us, they just send us off to college. Like, you graduate high school, like, okay, you're going to college now. You're going to accomplish your dreams. And you have no idea what the fuck your dreams are.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting a film major, and then I graduated. I'm like, geez, what the fuck am I going to even do with this?
Well, film's not that far removed from comedy, at least. Like, at least it's like an art type of thing, but... At 20, how the fuck are you supposed to know anything in your 20s? Like,
exactly.
I mean, it's hard. Even if you do know, you don't have some people do, but I know I didn't have like the drive or the ambition necessarily at that age to, actually do shit. But so that's cool, man. So when did you? How did it all start? Did you go to like an open mic, or did you start like how Keith is starting, just kind of making your own show, or what?
I went up to an open mic at Suck It Hookah. I think Keith's been there.
What is it called?
Here's the thing. Suck It Hookah, it's where I started.
Okay.
But
you gotta love that there's nostalgia there.
There's nostalgia.
That place.
I might perform there again sometime, so I can just say there's this nostalgia.
So it's called Suck a Hookah. Is it a hookah like lounge kind of place?
Yeah.
Okay.
Suck it.
It can be kind of a rough crowd because it's 18 and over, but they can't drink there. There's no alcohol.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, as cliche an idea as it is easier to tell jokes when people are drunk. I mean, it just loosens them up. They're all chill. And then you got a bunch of just 18, like we were talking about people in their 20s are stupid. When I was 18, I know I was a fucking moron.
Oh, yeah.
18-year-olds are idiots.
Yeah.
They're the worst people. So you're just telling these jokes to people who aren't even, they're barely people yet.
Yeah.
They've just been finger banged a couple of times and they think they have like, aspirations of greatness. It's just stupid.
Yeah. You get the older you get, that kind of just shifts up. There's like a sliding scale of like what's the age that I can look down on somebody and it be okay for my age?
Exactly.
I try to look down on Keith all the time, but he's too tall, so it doesn't work out. And he's young.
But yeah, I ended up doing open mics, and then I guess there was like probably about a year or two before I started. There's actually kind of like more of an organized scene in Toledo. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
And now that people have like Facebook and stuff, we can all kind of go back and forth, and we can connect with people like in Findlay and stuff. So I feel like the comedy scene is starting to kind of grow, and so there was kind of a scene starting to establish right as I was coming in.
Yeah.
So there used to also be we used to have 2 comedy clubs here in Toledo. We had a Connections, and we still have a Funny Bone. And the Connections closed, but before that, we used to have an open mic there, and that was a real cool thing. And we would like showcase people throughout the area, and that's actually how I met Keith.
Mm-hmm.
Is through that.
And that place was awesome. Like
Yeah,
that was our little clubhouse.
Dude, it was amazing. Connection, like the Funny Bone's nice.
No, it's not. I fucking hate.
Wait. But just in case Funny Bone ever wants you to play there, they're pretty cool.
No. Here's the thing. Like Funny
They're
Bone,
not listening to this.
Oh, yeah. Shut up, man. Not yet.
Funny Bone, yeah, there you go. Funny Bone, it's more of a theater setting.
Yeah,
Like if
I don't
you're
like the
big-
high ceilings.
Oh, the ceilings are really high, and Connections was cool because it was a small room. It was kind of dank. It was just like the ceilings were really low. It was not very well lit.
Like a club.
It just had an old
Yeah.
club feel.
Nice.
Like a real comedy club's supposed to look like.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
So that place is closed down?
Yeah, it closed down. It just Funny Bone got bigger names,
Yeah. Well,
so Connections really couldn't compete.
that sucks, man.
But
It-
what the Toledo Funny Bone is not even in
It's
Toledo.
not in Toledo.
It's
No,
not. It's like 15 miles outside of Toledo in a town called Perrysburg.
It's all
So-
marketing. It's all marketing.
Yeah, they're like, but we're not going to call it the Perrysburg Funny Bone
No.
because no one knows where the fuck Perrysburg is.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's Perrysburg is where all like one of the white flight areas of Toledo, like one of the major ones. It's just bougie white people.
Oh yeah, they're
It's just-
very
oh, yeah.
very rich high schools and shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably, I don't know, like out in San Diego, all the comedy clubs are in like richer areas. Like the La Jolla
Yeah.
Comedy Store is like, La Jolla's fucking rich as fuck. Then there's
Totally.
American Comedy Co. and Madhouse. They're both downtown San Diego, so Gaslamp District, and then like right in the heart of downtown. So it's like you're not finding them out where I live, like in El
Exactly.
Cajon. There's not a lot of comedy.
The
comedy
problem with the
places.
Funny Bone though is there's no more open mic settings really around.
Yeah.
No.
Like Sodbusters closed because
Close.
disagreements.
Yeah, disagreements. But
And I mean,
that's-
where else?
that's the problem. I mean, Bergman's got his show at the Blarney. It's downtown Toledo. And that's
Which is
more of a
still
showcase.
invite or yeah.
Yeah, it's still more of like, because I feel like I've kind of moved. There's open mics. I don't know how familiar people are with kind of how shows are set up. Like open mics usually are go up, show up, and a lot. I mean, it's literally anyone can go and just talk into a microphone. So a lot of the times it's terrible.
Yeah.
But then you kind of move on to like showcases, which is like several people, but that's more of it's organized.
Yeah.
And then obviously then there's actual shows, paid shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not, and the open mics they can be kind of shitty, but there's always like the one that just closed down in Toledo, this Sodbusters room. It was a really cool room to go.
I liked it.
It was a cool environment, and really, I mean, really, it's just an excuse to go and just get hammered with your buddies.
And eat dollar tacos and
yeah, they had dollar tacos on Tuesday.
yeah, it was dollar tacos and open mic comedy, and then we just all go there and make fun of Eric Urban for a
Oh
while.
yeah, and dude, we would get shit housed. Like usually had to drive home, but we would get it would be me, Bergman, and Brian Thompson. He just started.
Yeah. I love Brian. He's
Dude,
hilarious.
Brian's fucking funny. Brian's just this big, fat dude, and like my Brian impression every time I think of it is just, oh, that's just great. He's really sarcastic and really like, oh, that's it. And he's very just open. Like the first couple of times I've met him, he tells me about like just stripper experiences and just awful sex stories. He's just like an open book, and he just tells you what he thinks. He just goes off oh, the fucking Steelers, I hate the fucking Steelers, and just goes off for just on these awesome tangents. It's hilarious. And so it was a lot of that. It was just a lot of just getting hammered and getting on stage and just
working out new shit, playing around.
Yeah.
That was where you could play around and no one cared, and everyone just went up there to have a good time.
Exactly. And then you could maybe salvage something good off of it.
Yeah.
It was, I feel like I have a lot of stuff I use now, and like, granted, I only have like probably 15, 20 minutes total, but a lot of stuff I like a lot came from Sodbuster. Just came from fucking around at Sodbuster. Just that cool environment, and I don't know, it was really open, and we all hung out. Like, I feel like some shows people will go to and then they'll just leave. Like a lot of open mics, people just bolt. And it's, I don't know, it's that sense of just, it makes it a lot more comfortable. Because I've been hanging with these guys, so I can just go up and say whatever the fuck I want.
Because you're just saying it to a bunch of friends. Like,
yeah. Well, there was that time, I was going to say that, there was that time at the Q when we were down there, and it was like you, me, Mary, Gad, Anthony Martinez.
Jerry.
And we all went up. And we just fucking, you said whatever you want. Some people did their actual act. I remember that night, and I was like, okay, who gives a shit? Get out of here, Tiefel. Chris Tiefel. You're doing your act. We already know your shitty jokes.
Oh, Tiefel was mad that I told him, I'm like, I can only pay you, what.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
I get a portion of it. He goes, I thought it was a guaranteed 40. And I'm like, dude, you rode down here with fucking 4 dudes.
Yeah.
Like, out of pocket a lot on gas or something? Just shut the fuck up, people. What do you think, I'm bankrolling this shit?
Yeah. Keith has a nice mansion nowadays. You guys know. He actually had the room that he does the podcast just relocated to his new mansion just to fool people.
Fuck it, man. I gotta get by somehow, and I still don't have a license, so I'll figure that one out.
How do you even live?
Well, when you're that rich, you have drivers. You have drivers, helicopters.
So long.
Yeah. It's you can't.
Who else had their own Morgan Freeman to drive around?
Yeah.
Thanks, DJ.
Oh man!
So now all the comics around here called catching a ride's called Spurlock and a Ride.
Spurlock.
I was like, oh, thanks, TJ and Bergman. That was their collaboration. Thanks, fellas.
Dude, TJ's fucking vicious. Like, Bergman can be vicious too. That's one cool part of the comedy community but it's also kind of you get called on your shit a lot, and some people
I love it though.
Really good. I know some people are really good at it. Like Bergman's pretty good at it. Gad's pretty good. Gad's really good at it. Have you had Gad on here?
No, I tried, and then it was I don't do our scheduling.
Yeah.
And so I wanted him on, and I thought we didn't have a guest, and then we ended up having guests because I don't communicate well with the other parties. Because Ray's out in San Diego.
Keith is like throwing up fucking smoke signals, assuming we know what the fuck he's talking about. It's like, come on,
I've
Keith.
never met Ray or Jill, the girl who does. I've never met anyone. So, like, you're one of the first people on the podcast who I know.
That we actually know. That's weird.
Well, I hardly fucking whatever. Anyway, Keith has a shitload of excuses, and he likes to bring them all out during the show. This is why. This is my excuse.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's So are you into podcasts at all?
Dude, I've actually been really into podcasts lately, and it's weird. I don't know if Keith's encountered this at all, but like in Ohio, almost no one knows what they are.
No, nobody knows where they are anywhere.
Why do you think I don't? I don't even really like promote this on Facebook. It's just Twitter because no one around here even knows what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so. But I turn them on all the time at work, and I get away with a lot just because I'll play Skeptic Tank.
Yeah.
In the back, so it's him talking about like fist fucking while like I'm in the back of a pottery barn.
Yeah.
It gets really just heinous sometimes. I really like Pete Holmes' podcast a lot.
Okay.
Actually, Pete Holmes can be way dirtier than Ari Shaffir. You wouldn't think it, but Pete Holmes says some filthy shit.
Ari gave himself that reputation by doing The Amazing Racist.
Yeah.
Like, he's not really that I mean, don't get me wrong. He says some insensitive shit sometimes.
Oh, definitely.
But his act isn't even like. I mean, it's Ari, but it's not like offensive.
Yeah, I just checked out that his CD, that Revenge for the Holocaust CD. I really liked it.
Yeah, he's fucking great, man.
Yeah, it's weird that like, and I've heard other people say this, but it's weird that you meet people in comedy, and I feel like I've just met so many. There's a lot of people I know, but I don't know their acts.
Yeah.
Like I hope they're funny in real, like on the stage, because they're funny in real life.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes some people you just don't know. Like there's some people I have no idea if they could be funny on stage or not, or if I like their particular thing.
Yeah, it's like, I hope you don't suck. It's like watching a friend do anything, like where a performance of any kind.
Oh yeah.
Like I really don't want to have to lie after this is over, so please,
That's how I felt the first time I saw Red Band do stand up.
Really?
I saw him and Joey Diaz together, and Dom opened up for him down at the Woodlands. It's like a little over a year ago. And it was like one of his, when he first got back into doing comedy and everything, and it was back to his hometown. And I only watched the first show out of the two shows, and he was nervous as fuck.
Really?
Like doing comedy now and looking back, like I can, but the untrained me before was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude, buddy.
Frame of reference.
I really want you to do great. I came all the way down here to see you and Joey. Come on.
Yeah. I've seen him a bunch of times, and I just saw him when I was out in LA at the Ice House, and like he killed. So I don't know. I think he's found his groove.
Well, I mean, it takes, doing it all the time. Like every once in a while, I'll go through a stretch without doing anything for a couple weeks. And when I get back on stage, even your own jokes that you've told 20, 30 times, you'll go through it and all of a sudden you'll be in the middle of telling it, realizing that you left out a crucial part.
Yeah.
And then trying to figure out in your mind how you can either wrap it up without completely trailing off into nothing.
Yeah.
You can't, there's no joke where you go, oh, hold on, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just go back and oh, wait, I left out a part.
You can't Tarantino a joke, bro. You can't Tarantino a joke. Come on, man.
No, not unless you got to be really good, or that's got to be your shtick.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like I always forget. When I said I had like 15 or 20, like I have 15 or 20 minutes that I use, I probably have close to everything I've written in the last year and a half. I probably have closer to 30. But basically, I just get really tired of jokes real quick.
Okay, so do I.
So and then when I stop telling, and then I look at some stuff, I'm like, that's kind of a good joke. Like I have some joke about talking about something about my dick and pretending like it's a small child, and the punchline is like "have it your way." I know there's those elements exist. I don't remember how the joke goes though, and so I'm like, shit, that actually did pretty well, and I just moved it out of the way for some other stupid fat joke that I have.
Yeah.
How many killer bits have you had, and then went to sleep and lost? Like that you were thinking about for like an hour in your head, like while you're doing whatever, you're just churning and you're like, yeah, this is good. I need to write this down, or at least a reminder of what I'm thinking about. And you're like, yeah. You have a couple more beers, and all of a sudden you lay down and go to bed. And you wake up the next morning and go, fuck. I know that I was thinking of a great joke.
There was orange peel in there somewhere. I don't know how orange peel fits into anything. Yeah,
this inspiration hit you most. Like for me, it's the shower. For some reason, while I'm in the shower, I can like go through a set in my head. But there's no way of writing shit down in the shower.
Yeah, I would say driving for me. Driving home for work, and it's only like a 5-minute drive, but then I can really kind of just think out a bit and just kind of go over and over and over. And basically, if anyone looks in the car, I'm just talking to myself. I mean, I am doing that, but I feel like that helps too, because then not if you just say it. Because that's what another cool thing about just going to even a shitty open mic is just you have to be able to say it.
Yeah.
It just has to become, and then a lot of comedy is also about rhythm too. That's a big thing I've found out. Like, I've learned it's huge on rhythm, and it's emphasis on certain words could make them funnier, and then like just certain words. Like, I even had a bit about it for a little bit, but anytime something happens to you in the face, that's so much funnier than if it happened to you anyway. Like, oh, I got hit in the nuts. But if you get hit in the face, like, there's something about the word face that just hits. And like, it's just like learning like little things. Like, that's probably the coolest part, I think, about doing stand-up is especially, and then you get like exposed to more and more things.
Yeah.
And like now I'm in an environment like the Funny Bone is cool because I can go there and just watch dudes like Josh Blue, like these huge names go in and just watch how they do it. And that's kind of cool to do. And like, you can watch like from show to show, like maybe they had a good show, early show Friday, but late show Friday, holy shit, it really went awful. And then like first show Saturday, it's just so interesting to see like, and you can watch essentially the same bits. A lot of the guys, do the same stuff over and over.
Yeah.
But
I can imagine it would be a good way to like study because you're breaking it down from a different point of view rather than like, especially if you've heard the joke before.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at it from a different perspective because you know where it's going, but you can see how it gets there.
Yeah.
I would assume anyway. I mean, like you guys talking about forming your jokes and stuff like that is like what I do like in a sketchbook or something like, it's like you form it. Sometimes I'm designing what the fuck I'm going to do in my head. And then sometimes it gets lost in translation. Sometimes it goes straight to paper exactly how I want it. And sometimes it's something where I put down a rough idea and that rough idea ends up changing and morphing and becoming something, better or different than what it started out. But that was like a seed that was planted. So, it's fucking at the early stages, like you get so excited with seeing how the process of forming that thing is. You get so lost in it. It's awesome, man. Fucking awesome. So with podcasts, do you have you listened to the Kill Tony podcast? Because that's open mic stuff. Not yet.
I'm starting to get more and more into Death Squad, like kind of creep in.
That one is I recommended it to Keith. I went and saw it live a few weeks ago when I was up in LA, and it's like they take open micers up. It's like a minute, and they have usually a bigger comedian like Ari Shaffir, or Sam Tripoli, or something like that, and they help them, they critique them, and they kind of help them, form like. Get to the next step, basically.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm not even into fucking stand-up comedy except for, just fan. Like, I don't really have any aspirations to be a stand-up comic, but just the creative process of it is awesome. But I had to,
Could you imagine, though? Give me a minute. All right, Mike. You got 1 minute, and you're standing in front of, some of your favorite comedians in the Comedy Store. Go. 1 minute.
Yeah.
We're going to judge you, too. Go. And it's like,
man,
that to me would fuck me up.
Yeah, dude, I did a guest set for Segura on like a Saturday show, and I got a fist bump afterwards. I mean, but it was one of those things. Awesome, it was one of those looks. He's like, I mean, he didn't even say anything, but he's just like, oh yeah, cool, man. And it was one of those looks like, look, you didn't break any ground, you didn't, change anyone's mind about anything, but. You did all right. You didn't bomb. I mean, just really that was what I was on that fist bump.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's that. I would imagine just being like performing at the Comedy Store with just the history that it has would be just nerve-wracking in general. But yeah, being fucking on a podcast, especially.
And then
if
again, we're gonna judge you right after this, or
But that's what they would do. I would assume anyway. I don't know for sure, but I would just the process of performing at the Comedy Store, the other comics are going to give you shit. It's just not going to be public, but it's probably going to be worse than what you get on the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, not really. Here's the thing with comics. We make fun of each other.
Yeah.
We don't usually give each other advice.
Yeah, but at least you can
you could get off after having a great set, and depending, especially if your name's Chris Tiefel, and we're all still going to make fun of you.
Yeah.
No matter what, like, it's just gonna happen. Like,
some people it's definitely gonna.
And I mean, even even the guys that we like, you say something and everyone just dog piles on you.
Oh yeah.
Like no other. It's like, oh yeah, you fucked up. You said this in front of us.
But isn't it weird that like we can do that? It's perfect, but it's also there's another reason people like it's weird to give advice because it's such a weird thing to tell someone else how to do stand-up. Like I'm only
subjective too.
Yeah, I'm like a year and a half into it, and I don't really get it all the way. I think I'm kind of figuring out what I'm good at, That's one thing I've noticed. A lot of it is about who are you as an individual. What are your quirks that make like? There's this dude, Kevin Carlson from Toledo, and he's just a he's a weird dude. I mean, he's a nice kid, funny, but he just comes up with these off the wall shit, and you're like, I don't even know how to describe. Like, I don't even know how to tell you how to make this bit work.
Sometimes you're just like, well, I mean, good job. You were up there time. And to me, like anyone who I've always said this. Anyone who gets up there and does it, even if you bomb, I've immediately got more respect. Unless you're just some drunk asshole at an open mic who goes, I can do comedy.
Yeah.
And then fuck that guy. But someone who's actually prepared.
Yeah.
Tried to prepare and is still, getting over jitters or just as an off person. Much respect to you because, but I also think people, they hold it so much in their mind that when I tell them that I do stand up, they're like, oh, I could never do that. I could never do that. And I go, why not? What's the worst that could happen? No one laughs at you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No one laughed at me.
But they may not have a fucking desire to do it too. It's like
being
a pilot or something like that. It's like I don't really care.
That was weird about what you said, that you're a fan of stand-up comedy and you don't want to do it. Like when I remember like when you said that, my brain was just like, I can't relate to that idea at all. And that's just a weird thing that, like, obviously those people exist.
But okay, do you
I'm a fan of music and I don't play.
Yeah, do you like art? Do you like paintings? And it's like, it's a hurdle. I mean, I said I wouldn't do it, but I might do it at some point.
Yeah.
But, it's not necessarily like a goal, like a life achievement of mine. It's not something I want to turn into a career, see if I could turn it into a career necessarily. It's not my path.
Yeah.
So, it's for me to focus my energy on that. It's like if I was going to, then I'd, do it to, for real. I wouldn't. Yeah. But at the same time, maybe I'll go up there and just fuck around. But
the easiest way to do it, in my personal opinion, is take a funny fucking story from your life.
Yeah.
Something that you already know, that you've got locked down.
Yeah.
And then just tweak it here and there.
I mean, for me...
And then tell that story, at least, unless you just want to... Unless you're going to be a one-line comic or something.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, coming from you, ordinarily I would tell people to never do that, but you're really good at that. That's the thing. Like, we were talking about people's things. Like, Spurlock, it's weird. Like, Spurlock can have a 5-minute set, and most of it is just people listening. Yeah. Like, for like 3 minutes. And then the last 2 is just bam, 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 bam. So it's just like, shit, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
But like it'll be these. Some people just are better, and we were kind of talking about like rhythm and stuff. Like dudes like Patton Oswalt, or they could talk a lot longer. They don't really have to hit a lot of punches, but their voices still go up and down. And Patton's really good with that. You listen to his voice; he's really good at bringing it up, bringing it down, like just bringing excitement into his voice.
Yeah,
he's one of my favorites, actually.
As opposed to like doing just a monotone like delivery. But for some people, they can make that fucking work too.
Yeah,
like Tom Rhodes kind of does a monotone delivery through his shit.
But I'm sure if you were able to analyze or knew what the fuck you're analyzing, like you could probably see some kind of rhythm or some kind of cadence that is is in this, instead of like doing like tonal differences or whatever, it's doing other shit. But it's all art. It's like how are you gonna, with comedy, it's like you're trying to strum the strings of fucking making people laugh. It's like, what are the things that I can do that are gonna make them laugh? Like you kind of see the nuances of like not just the joke itself or premises, but you see like delivery methods and other ways of getting people to see the joke that then you kind of go a little bit deeper on the stuff. And that's, for me, like, I'm a fan, but I'm like a geek fan. Like, I love watching Kill Tony. Like, I analyze the shit. Like, it's almost like when I watch it, I'm training to fucking go do stand-up, but I never go do stand-up. So it's like I don't have the balls to do anything, but, I'm kind of like the fan of baseball where they know all the fucking stats and stuff.
Well, like when you're watching big-name comics at the Funny Bone, like we were talking about earlier, are you almost not laughing at certain points where you think it's funny, but you're just watching them and dissecting what they're doing? Because I catch myself doing that to bigger name guys, where it's like someone will be like, "You didn't like the show?" I'll be like, "I love the show," but I was also trying to figure out how he was commanding the crowd.
Yeah, you're getting something different out of it. Like those, most people are there just to laugh and have a good time, but since you're that's like your career choice of what you want to do. Like you're looking at from an educational kind of angle where you're like, why does what he does? How does that work? How is he making what he does work? And how can I apply that to me? In my own way.
Maybe you'll agree with me, but I talked about it on the last podcast. But like comedy, unlike live music, people just go and they're like, hey, let's go see some comedians. Not knowing
generally
what type of comics are going to be on. Like they might love, I compare it to like loving country music and like the blue collar comedy.
Right.
But you just go to a comedy show where like, say if I want to go watch live music, I don't just go to any bar that has a sign that says live music and stroll in and expect to hear what I want to hear. Right. And then that's a big hurdle to get over with comedy.
Well, yeah,
is the people just don't know what they're getting into when they go in.
Yeah,
it's definitely. I feel like the whole community is a lot more nuanced now. It's a lot more. You have your Death Squad guys. You have your kind of the Nerdist group. Like there's that whole scene. You've got dudes like there's even like a whole New York scene too. And what people like versus what people don't like. Feminist comics, anti-feminist. It's a whole
genres.
Yeah, you get all these cool genres, and it's
just like music, but people don't, unless they know the actual comic that they're going to see, just go to comedy as like, hey, let's go laugh.
Well, I feel like you'll probably get the genres in bigger places, like New York and L.A. I mean, I've never been to either, but I gotta imagine, they kind of gravitate. Yeah. It's around here. You've got dudes my age, and then you've also got guys doing.
You got Ed Barco and those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you're in LA and you're in your neighborhood that's like a hipster neighborhood, you go to the place that's doing comedy, it's most likely hipster or like, whatever they're calling that.
And like Ed Barco's a good example. Ed does pretty well. Yeah. But he also is skewing for a different demographic. Like for what, you know what I mean? Like I would say our styles are very different. I don't know if I would book us on the same show, but at the same time, because I don't know. I feel like the jokes he's going for and the demographic he's going for is not the same one I'm going for.
Yeah.
So and you kind of learn that. I mean, and there's like a kind of a white scene and a black scene in Toledo, and they kind of intermingle, but not as much.
They kind of do, and it's the Cool Keith crowd and the Keith Bergman crowd.
I feel like that's kind of where
the true separation is. There's Cool Keith and Keith Bergman,
White Keith and Black Keith.
And then I'm just the other Keith.
Yeah,
which is very confusing.
Oh, it's fucking Keith. You're fucking Keith.
But that's definitely there's definitely comedy clicks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you go purchase comedy in like iTunes, or if they even still sell CDs at like Walmart or Target, it's not broken up into genres of comedy.
No.
Like regular people probably have no fucking idea that there's different types of comedy. It's just funny people. Yeah. Like that's just like either they're funny or not, and some people think other people are funny, but they don't know why. Like they don't know why the blue comedy guys are funny, or like they go watch Mark Maron or something like that, and they don't know why he's funny. They don't know he's like a particular type of comedy. But maybe especially since everything's going digital, everybody's able to release shit. Maybe that will give a lot more exposure to comics, and maybe you'll start seeing. Which is bad to organize and categorize art genres, but for the education of just the common person, then you'd probably get a little bit more educated. Like, oh, I listen to this type of comic, so these are other comics that would be similar to that guy.
Oh, definitely. I think that's gonna be really cool to see.
Yeah,
I think that helped comedy at the Q at the beginning because it was TJ and I.
Yeah.
So it was like the black crowd. There'd be like heavy black shows. There'd be heavy white shows.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of mixed shows. And especially because around here, like, I don't know, growing up, I thought black comics were funnier than white comics.
Yeah.
Like especially like when I first got into like really watching comedy, like, and for a long while, like BET's Comic View, it was really good when it first started. There were a lot of real good black comics that came out of that. But towards the end of it, it was like just every dude from the hood that was remotely funny was like, I'm a stand up and I'm getting on, and it was just ugh.
Yeah, you just run out of guys.
But that to me, like a lot of black comics went over great here in like a predominantly white area.
Yeah, I feel like, and maybe I don't know if this is exactly true, but I feel like black comics a lot of times have an easier time crossing over the racial divide. Like, well, as a white comic, I don't
Playing
know.
all black crowd is rough as a white dude.
It can be kind of rough.
But especially like I don't know. At least it is for me, and because I grew up in a town with like no black people.
Yeah.
So I mean, and first you go up there and the LOL crowd, like the first few times I played there, I said I'm not going to do anything racial, like not even acknowledging that I'm white.
Right.
When you almost have to do that.
Yeah.
I learned by like my foot, like you just have to do it. You're like, okay, the elephant in the room's like I'm a nerdy, skinny white dude. Okay, let's go. We'll just go from there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just don't really play well in that room. I've done like probably more predominantly black audiences before, and I guess it's kind of just like mostly on the room, like just LOL Lounge. I generally don't do that well, and
it's a weird crowd. It's 40-something professional black people and random pimps, and maybe Mayor Michael.
Right, maybe I don't know. I've never been there when he's there. I've never.
And luckily he showed up after I was on stage because it was my first time ever being there, and I ate a dick.
Wait, who was there? Who was there?
The former mayor of Toledo.
Oh yeah.
No, he's still mayor. He's still.
Oh,
mayor.
he's still mayor. Oh, or the current mayor of Toledo.
I think he's running again. I don't know. I don't know anything about Toledo politics.
Yeah,
so fucking ill-informed.
Like I was my first time ever there, and I was nervous about even performing for an all-black crowd, and it just got like I went up there and I told the dick hand joke.
Oh right, yeah.
It's not the joke for that, and it was like my third time on stage.
Yeah.
And they just smell the fear on me, and it's such a long bit, or at least it was back then. Before I cut it down a lot.
Yeah.
For like now, but I didn't know like how to bail on a bit or anything. So I was 2 minutes into it, and they weren't feeling it at all, and I could just see it written on their faces. And I even had to like, boy, if you didn't like the first 2 minutes of that joke, you're gonna hate these next 3.
Here we go.
I bit, and I was just grit my teeth, and I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, I get off stage, and then like within 5 minutes, Mayor Mike Bell comes in. I'm like, whew, glad he missed that one.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a fan, man. You never know. Maybe he's into some weird shit. He just got done smoking crack or whatever. He's like, dick hands.
You never know.
Key to the city. This kid's going.
This kid right here.
Going far, man.
Go places.
Did you hear that dick hand joke? That shit was fucking hilarious.
Can you see it? Like your hand, man. Your hand, but dick. Really?
When you did the shocker thing, I was like, no way. I was just thinking that.
Couldn't believe it, man. Couldn't believe it.
Fucking my wife would love that, but she'd never admit it.
Have you told your Rick Ross joke in there?
Yeah, and it has mixed. It has the first part of that joke always does well, but the second half is a little more like weird and abstract, and that's a hit or miss. That's a hit or miss.
So, like a bunch of overweight black dudes in there going, this motherfucker, what is he fucking talking?
I was hosting the Funny Bone, and I did that bit where I was shitting on Rick Ross, and my friend showed up, and she was like, yeah, there's a whole table of these black guys just going like, fuck him. Rick Ross got money though. He's getting paid, and it's like, shut up. He's terrible. He's such a bad rapper.
He's fake.
He's so bad.
Yeah. Oh man,
to steal your whole your whole essence and name and everything from dude in prison, and then that dude magically gets out of prison.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I didn't steal that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're doing.
I mean, I'm a gangster. Weren't you a corrections officer? Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I was kind of a corrections officer too, but I mean, I'm a gangster. Huh.
Yeah, well decorated one.
Yeah. We need to form a campaign to bomb all of his videos on World Star Hip Hop, and we need to educate. We need to educate his audience that he's not real.
I love to watch different videos on World Star, but have you ever actually scrolled down to the comments?
No, I haven't been on World Star in a while.
Oh my! I thought the YouTube comments could get out of hand.
Is YouTube more sophisticated than World Star Hip Hop? Is that what you're saying right now?
World Star Hip Hop comments. It starts off, maybe one or two people will comment, like, just in general, and then all of a sudden it is just a racial tirade.
Oh my god!
It's like white supremacists just troll World Star.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they just got done beating off to some like black chick naked in a music video, and then they just full of hate. They're like, I can't believe I just did that.
And they hate themselves, really.
Yeah, it's like, I'm so guilty and sticky. I need to go talk
shit. It is
shit.
So ridiculous. Like, I just scroll down, and it's one of those where, like, you get so tempted to say something, but it's just one of those, why? I just don't.
We should do a segment on the show of just World Star Hip Hop comments. Like, just find funny ones.
Oh, it's not
that we ever have segments of any kind on the show.
Black guy on the show to read all the ones that we or either that or just be us dropping N-bombs for 2 hours.
Why don't you just bring a black guy in, and then you can just have him say the N-word whenever you're about to hit it?
There we go.
Say the whole thing, and then just have him say the actual word, and then you move on.
Yeah, we can I can add that to the soundboard or something like that. Just hit the clip.
Or no, just have him sit next to you.
Or that,
Just like push it over and then push it back.
White guys just saying or having a soundboard say it still just as.
Okay, I'll get an animation too, so if the video listeners can see. You know what I'll do? I'll just paint my Rogan Real doll, and he'll just sit there. It'll be blurry every time. He's like, no. So people don't know. It's like, maybe did he say that? I don't know.
You also gotta dress him up like really professional too.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean? So he doesn't look like a stereotype or anything. Make sure he's got like the big lips or anything. No. Stay away from that.
Yeah, he's not gonna look like John Jones at the end of his.
We're not gonna rock the Sambo look on him.
No, that's probably ill-advised.
Yeah, damn it. You have to change that next episode.
Yeah.
There goes the Halloween outfit.
Yeah. I guess I know what I'm going to be for Halloween in the hospital.
It blows my mind that people can still dress like that kind of shit. Like you just see some of those costumes on there, you're like, whoa, you can buy that?
Like what? Like
just,
racist or...
you just see like a couple, like I've seen a couple pimp outfits where it's like this big mask and it's just like the Samboest face ever, and he's got gold teeth
and a gold tooth.
Oh,
and it's just like, whoa.
I don't think they carry those in the California Halloween stores. I don't think
it might be an Ohio thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, one time playing the LOL, there was a giant pimp in the front. I don't know if you've ever been there when there was a pimp there.
A giant pimp as in successful or just large man?
Picture Suge Knight that grew up in Toledo and was 65.
Whoa.
Had red gaiters, red silk socks, a red suit with a red vest, a white shirt with like red buttons and like a red collar, a red hat with a red feather, and a cane. And he was probably 400 pounds.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's probably large on both.
Sitting in the front row.
Yeah.
And it was like me and the professor were the only white dudes.
Oh my God. How'd that go?
And I looked at the professor. The professor had already went. This dude was not sitting there when the professor went. And so but 2 comics before me, he was sitting there. And they were both black comics, and no one acknowledged it. And I was like, I have to say something about this giant
fucking pimp.
Keith sometimes likes suicide as an option for his sets.
And I looked at the professor and I was like, I'm going to say something. And he just smiled. He's like, And I was like,
this night just got interesting.
Oh, you have to know the professor to know that this very Christian
he's just
animated comic.
Yeah.
The professor. Is he a teacher? How do you get the professor?
No,
nickname?
he talks a lot about science.
Oh.
He's
a lot of his
good guy to get stranded on an island with.
He loves science and he's uber Christian.
Yeah,
So.
It's weird.
What?
It's very weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a very high contrasting belief guy.
Yeah, and very energetic too.
Very.
His opener is this. He comes out and he's like,
and he's a comic.
Get some kinetic energy. Let's get some kinetic energy moving here. And so it's like, I see what you're doing.
I see what you're doing, Bill Nye.
Yeah. Or he's like, there's a lot of static energy in here. Let's get some kinetic energy going. And you're like, oh shit. And but no, I looked at him and I was like, I'm gonna say something, and he just gave me the eek face. And so
he's calculating your risks right now. He's coming up with numbers of how much of your ass is gonna get beaten.
I took my first joke and then I purposely looked down like I was surprised, like I didn't see this giant ball of red in the only guy in the front too.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, Kool-Aid's here. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then everyone starts laughing, and I just bent down and looked right at him, and I was like, I am a tiny, tiny white dude. Just don't kill me. And they loved it.
That's the best thing you could have said.
That was like one of my best sets, and it was at the LOL. But it was that set the whole tone. They got the rest of my jokes just from that.
Yeah, that really helps.
Had I not done that and told those same jokes, I bet I would have got blank stares.
You broke the ice.
I love that. When you can just comment on shit that's happening. And I just love it when you just have something just to walk up on, and it's not even part of your set. Something like that where you can just say something like, there was this dude who looked like Nikki Sixx at one of the weekends I was hosting at the Funny Bone, or the weekend I hosted at the Funny Bone, and I pointed him out. I was like, dude, you look like you have all the cocaine. Like, just riffing on him. And he had like a sport coat on, and like he had like a little goatee and just straight black hair. And I think he had guy liner on too. And he kind of looked like a little like, and I was like, dude, you can't even get mad at me. You left the house like that, bro. Like there was no way you didn't pass at least one reflective surface. Your car, you could have just looked and said, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't wear this to a comedy show. Maybe, I don't know.
What's the worst heckler that you've seen?
Oh, that I've seen. Oh, Brett Ernst weekend to the Bone. Brett, it was a Sunday show, and it was kind of a weird thing because this dude started kind of talking up, and he was hammered. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen Brett Ernst at all. Really great.
He's out of New York?
L.A. He's from Jersey.
I think he's
originally from Jersey, but he lives in L.A. But he kind of went back and forth with this dude a little bit, and in all honesty, probably played with him a little more than he should have. But it was Sunday show at the end of the weekend. You know, it's kind of one of those things like he's just got a coach now.
Show, yeah,
yeah, like it gets tiring. But he kind of played, and then if you guys don't know, his closer, it's a really good one, but it's he does this kind of like act out of like this roller rink. He talks about it like it's a story when he was a kid. He used to go to this roller rink, and this kind of shit would happen. And this dude just kept going, I saw you on YouTube. You know, the rollerblade joke. I love it. And he was still closing with it. You know, he's still closing with it. So it just kind of got to a point where the guy would just be like, no, do the rollerblade joke. And it was like near the end of the set. And Brett was just like, dude, I'm trying, but now you're ruining it. And he eventually just had the guy removed. And the guy wouldn't shut up. Like, it's kind of the danger of, you can play with the heckler a little bit, because sometimes they'll just give you shit that you can shut them down with.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just do it a little too long, and then they think, oh, I am helping the show.
Part of the show, yeah.
Because actually, recently I was in Michigan. I'm not sure. I think a little outside Detroit. I was doing my buddy Carl Johnson's room, and there was this chick who was talking, and I shut her down. I smoked her, and I said, yeah, I'm sure you're a really nice person, but you're being a fucking asshole right now, so just shut up. Just stop it. And then, but then, and after that, it is always kind of hard to, okay, now we got to go back into jokes though, because I still have about 5 more minutes to do. So like I kind of joked around about like I said something like, "Look what you made me do." Like I feel like an abusive dad, like trying to. But then I went out to the show and she was hammered. I went out to have a cig outside after my set, and she was out there too having a cigarette, and she just went like, "I'm so," and she was hammered. She's like, "I'm so sorry. I wasn't trying to be an asshole. You called me an asshole. I really hurt my feelings." I was like, "Well, you were kind of talking." And she's like, was I talking? I didn't think I was. I thought I was just trying to help. I was just trying. And it was like she was so pathetic.
She turned into Mary Santora during her closing bit.
Yeah, she was Mary's closer. She's this little old lady with these like big glasses, and she's just chain smoking. I think her name was like Karen or something, and we hugged it out. It was just. But I think a lot of people don't know that they're being shitty. I mean, they should, and it seems like common knowledge.
It's a problem with drunk people.
I had to get on. I had to get on the owner of the bar that I run comedy at the Q at one time. He got sauced up with some friends.
What? The owner?
And we're at the back of the bar, and like I was up by the stage, like watching the time and everything, and I had to go to the back, and I was like, dude, I can hear you clear as day. Up at the stage, and I'm standing in front of the speaker. And he was like, "I'm sorry." I'm like, "No, it's cool, dude. It's your bar, obviously. Just please, shut up."
Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, just kindly shut the fuck up.
My act relies heavily on sound.
Yeah, these girls who were trying to obviously hit on the bar owner, they were like, as I turned around to walk away, I heard the one girl who was the loudest of the bunch. She goes,
"Right,
you're gonna let him tell you what to do in your own bar?"
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God.
And I just kept walking away from that one. I was like, there's no way that me turning around and saying all the shit that I have at the tip of my tongue is going to do anything good.
I think that's the intro to every single World Star hip-hop fight video. Is like a chick saying that, and then all of a sudden, I can't believe you're letting him say that to you, and then she brings out her phone, and then next thing you know, you're getting your noggin knocked off and slammed into a fucking pavement. Yeah.
God love World Star Hip Hop for just wanting to see dudes get knocked out on the streets.
Yeah. If you want to see stupid people, like, that's where you go. In a safe environment, you don't have to worry about like the fight like all of a sudden coming over your way. Like
I don't really like that much of the new rap music. Sometimes they have cool sports stuff on there, but mostly I'm just clicking on it to see ooh, any good street fights?
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, every few weeks, it's like okay, Reddit. I'll skip on Reddit and skip on porn because I'm already tired and sticky. So I'll go to the World Star Hip Hop and see who's getting knocked out. It's fun.
And some of those twerk videos aren't that bad either.
Oh man, it's the best thing. It's the
Vine is a great thing. 6 seconds of twerking is all you really need to get the whole gist of it.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, there's a lot of good Vine material out there. Including the twerking, but like porn stars and stuff. It's like it's the internet just like shrunken down to like video. Like
you can go straight porn on Vine.
There's a couple I used to follow, and then I was like, maybe I shouldn't follow them just in case people look at who I follow.
Right.
But it was this couple in Chicago that they were swingers, and they would do vines of whoever. They would like advertise like, hey, whoever's available this weekend, and then they'd have vines of like their group sex sessions. Followed that for a while, and then it gets to a point where you forget what you're searching for to get to that. And since I wasn't following anymore, it's been a while since I've seen them. But you can get some crazy shit on Vine, man. It's just they don't allow you to search. It's very hard to search on Vine. They like cut out all the easy ways to find that shit. But it's there.
That's
6
crazy.
seconds. Yeah, man, it's fucking the internet, man. Crazy. Well, it breeds crazy.
Yeah,
and then Good.
I would say porn stars on Twitter aren't that interesting.
No,
but they're not people to follow. By the way,
no, they're not interesting.
I love it when
they
get political.
Oh, yeah,
it's like
you're just like, what are you doing?
You're like, come on, girl.
The president's a dick. What are you talking about? He makes you feel good, or he's bad.
Some ATM or some DP, and just shut up.
Porn stars on Vine, different story. different story because they're doing what they love.
Yeah, it's like, all right, Gianna Michaels, I don't want to hear what you have to say about Syria. Just, and then they'll like
cram down some more of that black cock, Gianna.
Yeah, and then they'll put on like pictures of like their dog. Like, I got this dog in a purse. And you're like, why do I follow you? Why do I care?
Although that's why you have shit on your money.
I follow Ice Cube's girlfriend on Facebook.
Oh, do you?
Just because you've seen her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And she's got like Titty Tuesday and like
Jesus
ass fucking ass day. I don't know what.
That's good. I like that.
Ass to ass day, man.
Ass to ass day.
It's always good.
Like dogs like licking her big ass and I don't know. It's crazy.
Dogs.
She's got like English bulldogs.
So is that your background now? English bulldogs? That's what getting you off nowadays? Like ever since that video, man, of the dog licking the ass.
This wasn't any spank material. This is just general hot chick that's naked. Like, why wouldn't I just watch regular porn? Come on, Ray, get with it.
I don't know. Judging me for what I jerk off to? I mean, maybe I'd like to watch dogs lick ass.
Just still picture.
I thought we had something in common, Keith. I thought I was going to be able to talk to you about the best breeds of dogs to lick ass, but apparently,
how bad have Playboy sales had to have gone down since everyone can just watch every sort of act on
Playboy? That's where you go to is Playboy. Playboy.
I'm saying back in the day, what other? Oh yeah, my dad. I lucked out my dad.
Oh yeah, well.
Like me, and he had VHS, so I just steal his VHS, which I feel sad. No other kids will get the joy of playing hide the porn with your dad.
They're gonna be like, I found my dad's bookmarks.
It's a game that I came up with, or at least I thought I came up with. It was I would find my dad's porn stash, and I would steal a couple choice VHS for myself, and then I would hide them in my room.
Yeah, because the guy doesn't know his porn stash.
And then all of a sudden one day I would come in and go into my stash and find that it was missing.
So you guys were jerking off to the same shit.
My stash was also not in the same place. So now it's like a treasure hunt. So now I have to search it all out again, find it, choose a couple of other choice copies, and then go through the game I choose a different hiding spot. He eventually finds it, but we never actually ever talk about it to this day.
But it happened.
You should, because you guys could like compare and contrast your critiques of the same shit you jerked off to. You guys have a lot of experience like climaxing to the same shit.
Yeah, we've definitely like we're kind of Eskimo brothers through the amount of same porn that we've watched.
So you guys just high five. It's just like a special high five just to signify.
We just have to do it with our left hands because I know we're both right-handed.
Because you may not like separate them after they touch on the right hand. Yeah, just like this stringy mess of like. Yeah, that's where Elmer's glue comes from. Is the families that share their Eskimo relations. But
it was. I mean, like
that's why it's edible.
Certain kids should.
Is it?
You should be at least like 10 before you see your first porn.
Yeah,
I was like 5.
Yeah. You won't know what you're doing. 5? Did you what?
Wait, how are you 5?
You
had the internet.
And how did you know how did you know what was going on at 5?
Here's the story. So I'm 32 now. So
allegedly.
Early 80s.
Yeah.
My dad has me every other weekend, but we both live in the same village, so we're not that far apart.
Yeah.
Dad watching me, has to go do something. This is back in the day when the whole neighborhood kind of watched you.
Yeah.
He threw in a VHS of WrestleMania.
Okay.
My aunt's parents taped it off the satellite. They had a descrambler.
Yeah.
And taped WrestleMania. Well, they taped over a porn.
Oh.
That's how kids get hooked on WrestleMania.
My dad was gone for a little longer than, he was probably up at the bar real quick, having one and signing up for the daily raffle.
Right.
And so I'm there for about an hour maybe, just watching this. And I said, about 45 minutes of me being there was actual WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But second the last match ended, it cut straight into fucking butt fucking. Like a dude
anal in the 80s
was my first
right butt fucking. Are you serious?
I'm 5 years old and I'm watching this dude butt fuck this chick, And then she's like, and then she just goes down on him right after that. And I'm like,
that's ass to mouth.
Even then, like I knew something was going on downstairs, and I knew that this was wrong, that I was watching this because I saw my dad up, and I ran up and I like shut it off before he got inside, because I felt like I was going to be in trouble when he's the one that put the tape in and left it. He's like, here, watch this. And I'm like, all right, I will.
That's all you were doing. You were just there. That's the only crime you committed. Your eyes were fucking open.
I learned it from watching you,
the worst thing a child could see.
Yeah.
What did I? And then to never have anyone really explain that.
Yeah, there's no content. Like, you have to go. What? How old were you when someone was like,
when it finally started? Well, he always had porn. Like, and I found it like after that. Yeah. So I was like, I learned how to jerk off by like 6.
Oh, really?
So, but did it do anything though?
No. Well, I mean, yeah, you would feel an orgasm, but you don't come.
Yeah. Huh.
Like, so I thought that I was broke because all these guys on this, on these movies were something happened at the end.
You like rigged up a special effects thing with mayonnaise and a straw.
I was like 12 or 13 before like something happened, and I was like, oh shit, I'm a man. It was like a drop.
Bingo! Yahtzee.
Man, now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 pubes and a drop of something came out of my dick.
Woo!
And then it just became a mess.
It just becomes a whole.
Then you're like, man, I miss those days where nothing happened at the end. Like sometimes there was a switch on me, right? Like I couldn't tell you how much I wish that I just got off and nothing happened.
You can do that. Like you can train your muscles to do that. Yeah, that's what the tantric. That's David Cho, DVD ASA, that podcast. When he was in prison in Japan, like he taught him. He had nothing else to do, so he taught himself how to do that.
Like it can build up internally, though.
Was that the only thing he learned how to do?
No, he did like a series. Yeah,
like that took all of his time.
Well, I'm sure it took a fucking long time to like train your muscles not to like shoot shit. But he's an artist, so he did like a huge series of work using like urine and like just whatever he was able. Like these looked like watercolor paintings and stuff. He did a lot of shit in prison, but that was one of the things where he's just like, I got nothing else to do, so I'm gonna figure out how to fucking come without shooting.
David Cho. He's like the highest paid artist. He did work for Facebook, and they gave him stock instead of paying him. So he's like but he was making millions like gambling. He's made millions painting. Like he's successful in general. But now he started off as a graffiti artist too. I think.
No way.
He if you're familiar with Vice, he did a series for them, Thumbs Up. He did where he hitchhiked with his buddy across the U.S. for the first season. Second season, I think, was across China, and then they've done 2 other seasons, I think, since then. But he's like a graffiti artist, but he's like the biggest like artist ever right now.
That's crazy.
And he does a podcast, which it's him, Asa Akira,
with Asa Akira, the porn star,
the biggest porn star right now.
Yes.
And then it's just like his friends and people he works with, like his bodyguard. His dude that does his accounting, another guy, a Mexican dude, Valentin, that just helps around the shop and stuff like that. So it's like, and Money Mark from Beastie Boys is is in a lot of them. They do little jam things, but fucking crazy podcast. But that guy, when he was in prison, he figured out how to come without coming, or the tantric sex, which is just like a muscle in your taint that like shoots the shit out. And if you can train it not to do that, and basically you have the sensation that you're coming but without actually shooting anything, so you can, and then you keep going, like it doesn't deplete you.
But here's the thing,
can you switch it back on?
You can come whenever you want. It's a muscle you figure out how to control.
It has to go somewhere, so it still builds up inside you.
You reabsorb it. Like instead of shooting out,
you still piss most of it out.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it comes out,
which would make it like a creamy piss.
But look, if you're like if your birth control is the pull-out method, like this is an added safeguard. Like if you're not shooting anything out anyway, then that's like even more, and you're still pulling out. Then you know.
Well, that's another reason that I claim that I don't have kids still to this day is because I saw porn at 6, and I didn't even know forever that you had to come inside a girl to get her. I thought you were supposed to pull out and come all over in various areas
because into her pores. And
that's all that I had ever seen. You just make it rain semen, and like that's how you
exactly.
I've never actually had the porno ending. I've never like pulled out and then came on a girl. I've never done that. I've never done that. I know it seems weird.
I haven't either.
What are you?
I'm serious.
Here's the thing though. I always wear condoms. Son. I'm so afraid of getting a chick pregnant. That's I was raised Catholic, so that's number one in my brain.
I was raised Catholic
sex too. Means babies. Yeah, but you were watching pornos at 6.
Yeah, you were trained from an early age, Jedi. Okay, just shut the fuck up. You
were watching butt sex.
99% of the people don't relate to what the fuck you just said.
I probably couldn't read that well at that time, but I knew how to work a VCR well enough.
Yeah, the big triangle, sideways triangle, makes happy time.
Totally on like a weird subject that's like the opposite of this. My manager was telling me about how his 2-year-old started like downloading movies off of Amazon.
Oh no!
Like he just knows how to do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen so many people's little kids.
I've heard of that.
Fucking crazy.
I was like nervous just handing my phone to anybody because anybody may accidentally, like just regular people.
I've literally handed my phone to kids at the salon that I work at because they were being crazy, and I just pull up Angry Birds and I'm like, hey, you ever played Angry Birds? And they're like, oh hell yeah. And I'm like, here you go. It's just like handing a kid a Game Boy. All of a sudden he shuts up and he knows better than I do. He's like, I passed that level for you. I'm like,
but this kid could go on Amazon, find the movie he wants, go, oh yeah, animated movies, I want this movie, and he's like, they downloaded like 14 movies. Kids spent like close to it's like $80 like shipping.
That's why you don't leave your credit card info open.
It was nuts that like a kid could, and it was all movies that he would want to watch.
Yeah,
he's like, I like this movie, and it's like, holy, that technology is that easy to that group of kids.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess we grew up with like laptops, or not laptops, but like computers and stuff.
Yeah, well, we're used to like shit not making sense. Like like you open a fucking hood of a car, unless you're a mechanic, you're like, there's a lot of shit going on in there. I don't know what the fuck's going on. You open up a computer, there's a lot of shit going on. But with like a phone or a tablet, like all you see is the screen. Like that's all you can work with. So it's like that's just how well designed it is and how fucked up and jaded we are. Like we're used to things being 10 times harder. So we're like, it can't be that, like what I think I should do is probably not what I should do because normal computers are fucking retarded. So
exactly,
but and then kids just don't know any better. They're like, you just touch and it's like I order. It's I would be nervous as fuck to have a kid. And like, do you have any kids?
No.
Yeah. Okay, good. You're part of the club. You're part of the club. Yeah. It's I couldn't imagine. Like I'm pretty insecure around kids anyway, but handing them like technology, like a phone, like I'm not gonna hand a kid my phone. Like I barely trust my friends with my phone because they break them all the time. I'm not gonna hand a kid my phone, even though they're probably safer with it.
Yeah, but kids, and it's weird. I have a lot of like my mom's side of the family is really big, so I have all these little cousins, and they're always like, do you have like this game, or do you, what games you got? I'm like, dude, I don't really got games on my like I don't really play games on my phone.
Yeah.
So they look at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you have a phone?
Why do you waste your technology like that?
Yeah.
What are you doing with your life? You're not playing
piece of shit.
Oh man, I just recently had a friend tell me that because he was trying to convince me to have kids.
Oh Jesus.
And he was like, I mean, what are you really doing with your life, man? I mean, this comedy thing. And I'm like, yeah, well, you mean this thing that I'm really trying to make the goal of my life?
I'm trying to make a future for myself.
He's like, yeah, you know, fucking, I mean, what are you really doing? You're just fucking playing up on stage and why don't you have a kid? And I'm like, yeah, because that qualifies as doing something with your life.
Yeah,
having something that you didn't initially want in the first place. But just because of societal pressure, you should have. He's like, man, I want our kids to play sports together. I think his youngest kid's like 4. Even if I somehow impregnated my girlfriend at the exact moment,
right?
They would
Sadly, Keith never learned how it actually works.
They would never even be in high school together.
Yeah.
They would never play sports together. Like, and I don't want to be here.
I'm at the age where a lot of friends are getting married, not necessarily kids, but they a lot of them are married, and it's like, this is fucking weird. What are you doing?
Yeah, a lot of people.
You know what? Most of those friends of yours that got married right now, by my age, are going to be on their second marriage, but with 2 kids from their first marriage.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
Oh
exactly.
man. Yeah. It's
that's exactly how everyone's like. Why don't you have a kid? It'd be like, I already leave so much stuff when I move.
Oh yeah.
Move that I've ever made. I've almost like abandoned half the shit that I owned at the time.
Yeah.
So you're saying you actually have kids? You just forgot where you left them?
Yeah, they're just gone now.
Never got a hold of me. So
like I said, I leave a lot of shit behind when I move.
If I can get to 18, I mean, I don't think that they can come for back child support at that time.
Yeah.
I just got to lay low.
Yeah.
Lay low.
Yeah. Good strategy, man.
They may be trying to come back get that podcast money from you though, so watch out.
Those big bucks we're making here on the Inspired.
Yeah. The millions, the $1 million industry that the podcasting is bringing in these days.
A lack of license and the fact that I actually work as a receptionist at a hair salon, that I am rich. Yeah. I just
very rich.
Love smelling perms all day.
Well, that's true.
That's gotta be rough.
Perms fuck freak, dude. Luckily, most people don't get them.
Yeah, I mean, who gets perms?
Old ladies, dude. There's still old ladies that come once. Here's something I learned. There's still old ladies that come once a week and they get their hair washed and styled, and they don't fucking wash their hair the rest of the week. And then they come back next week and then get it washed and styled again.
Yeah, but they're old people. It's not like they do anything.
Old ladies don't wash their hair. Old people stink.
Oh, they stink because their body's decaying.
Back in the day when they had to like fill up the wash basin, like they only take a shower like when they have to and shit.
Yeah, and then they'd have their slave do it for them. They didn't do it themselves.
Working there, I've learned a few things. Women are generally disinteresting in regular conversation. Yeah, but we love them, but. Just not much in substance of what we're...
At least that, the clientele you're getting.
That I see. I'm not making a generalization of all women. Yeah. But I see a good deal of...
Most of them.
I live in
a very high percentage.
Not all of them, but almost all of them.
I live in a super Republican, and it's like so old Republican ladies that watch Fox News all day.
Lucky. You lucky bastard.
And then some of the stuff, like, I remember one time, this old guy, like, in his 70s, early 80s, and he's got, like, old sailor tattoos and shit.
Yeah.
And we're just talking, and I don't know what got brought up, but he brought up a local politician, or, like, a state senator or something. He's like, you know what? He's like, I really supported him. I'm a Republican. He was a good Republican. But, after he changed his mind on gay marriage, I just can't support that. And I was like, and I looked at him and I go, well, I mean, I was raised Catholic, so, I mean, I got a little bit of that, not as much as maybe like these born again, I don't know, what are they, Baptist or, whatever the born agains are. And, but I was like, you do realize that like one line or one or two verses after that verse in Leviticus that scorns being gay, and it also says that it's just as much of a sin to mark your body like you did with your tattoos.
Tattoos, yeah, that's so stupid.
And he goes, well, I mean, I've asked God for forgiveness for that, and I'm like, but
did you though?
I mean, gay people could just ask for forgiveness then, really, at the end, right? Because I mean, and then, we started philosophizing because he was like, I'm a preacher. And I was like, oh, this makes it even better. And then at one point he looked at me and goes, you aren't gay, are you? And I would have, because I mean, I'm a skinny dude.
Yeah, you wish.
shaved.
Yeah.
You know, I work in a hair salon, so my hair's done and shit. So like, I'm like, no, but I wish so much I would have been like, but I was like, no, but I know plenty of gay people, and I was like, and the thing I have with that is, all the gay people I know from like childhood, we all knew they were gay when we were 12. Like, it's, very rarely are they're the surprise.
Yeah.
Was gay.
Most of the dudes, are pretty.
So to me, I mean, obviously, some people are definitely born fucking gay. Like, it's just always been there. Like,
I had a buddy that just came out, and recently I just met a dude that I found out this kid hooked up with, and I was like, oh man, you went gay, and then you went really like well with it, bro. You're pulling down some ass. I was really proud of him. I was like, Jesus, like I just saw this kid like that. You fucked him? Are you kidding me?
Nice.
Whoa, dude, that was good.
You like high-fiving like when your buddy comes back and he's like, I slept with like a solid 8. You're like, nice. Oh, buddy.
And you're still high-fiving with the left hand at that point.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
More so with your gay friend.
Yeah.
You're not keeping it in the family.
And not because you're homophobic, but because we're in that generation still where there's that, like, when people are like, don't use the word gay. There was nothing but the word gay when I was 9 to fucking 19.
That was like the go-to insult.
It wasn't even an insult. Like, I mean, like, that's gay. I didn't mean that butt fuck something.
No, for the wrong purposes, but that was like the word you used.
But I mean, they also, like, what I don't get is how, like, I totally support any gay people, like, gay marriage and everything. Like, I'm not railing against them, but I mean, just people being too sensitive about shit because, like, they co-opted gay from happy, just like faggot was a bundle of sticks and a cigarette, like, all these things that you just can't say anymore or like not PC, like they co-opted from something else, or like they want to say that someone else just calls them that in a derogatory. Well, I can say you derogatory, like, hey, you, and you know that I meant like, hey, dick face.
No, but there are. I mean, that's how a lot of that shit starts. It's like
going, hey, faggot.
Yeah.
But like, if I'm like, fuck, quit being a faggot.
But it is kind of like what you guys were just saying. Like what you guys were talking about, and I grew up the same way. Like, gay is just that word. All of us were kind of like, we didn't mean it in a shitty way.
Yeah.
And so then when you start realizing, oh no, that could be taken shitty.
Yeah. Well, you're meaning it like offensive, but you didn't understand what the fuck it meant. Like, you didn't understand why it was like an offensive word.
Yeah. I think you have to hit a point. There has to be like a happy medium where you go, oh, I didn't realize that pissed you off. But then sometimes you get the people that are a little too over the line.
Yeah.
That, like, I've heard some people. I was iffy on, like, when you get to jokes and comedians should say whatever they want. Because I believe that. But I also at the same time think you should also realize that free speech is a fucking just a jungle.
I don't believe in say whatever you want.
When you say, but the thing is, like, when you say what you want, don't get pissed when people can say what they want about you.
Yeah.
That's why I notice sometimes comedians will they'll be like, oh, well, why am I getting all this criticism just because I said this thing? It's like, well, they're just saying their thing, man.
Yeah.
Like, you got to accept that, too.
Yeah.
But I kind of forgot my original point. I don't remember.
I mean, comedians can say whatever they want. They should have the freedom to say whatever they want. However, not everything a comedian says is like unoffensive. Like, sometimes you fuck up. Sometimes but you have to know where that line is.
Zig Heil and shit, and everyone would be like, well,
that's
just because I can say that.
Yeah, and it's not just that you're saying it, how you say it, the context of what you're saying. I mean, there's a lot of other things that go into it, but people suck at doing shit. So sometimes people will be offensive and suck at being offensive in a funny way, but at least you know, like, you're seeing where that line is. Like, that line of, like, offensive and not offensive is a constant conversation that's constantly changing. There's not, like, it's not a black and white thing, or Pardon the racist pun, right. but it's not one way yes or no type of deal. Like there is gray area, but you're constantly shifting that gray area depending on society, where you're playing, things like that. But you should have that cushion to fuck up. Like everybody should have that cushion to fuck up because you're creating something new. And when you're creating something new, you fuck up a lot. Like not everything you do is the exact right way, but at the same time, it's like. People do get offensive, but it's a part of the population in the U.S. probably more and more every day where people get more offended over dumber shit. But
there's trigger words,
but there's on both sides. There's people angry that they can't bring their dog into a restaurant, but then there's also people on the other side that are angry that they can't bring their gun into a restaurant.
Yeah,
it's like which side of both are fucking pretty ridiculous. It's like it's finding the middle ground of
there's certain trigger words though. Being a comic and knowing what knowing kind of the zeitgeist. Yeah. There are certain words like if you say the word rape, regardless of if you have a great cleverly crafted joke with a punchline that's not even promoting rape, actually condemning just the fact that you said rape. Certain people hear certain words, like if you said faggot, if you said, nigger. Those words, like even regardless of the context, like people's minds shut off. Certain people. People that get offended on behalf of other people is usually this group.
I've noticed that a lot too.
Yeah, those certain words. Like regardless of the joke, even if like, all right, certain jokes aren't funny, and if you try to go for a real racy joke. And it's not funny, like then it just becomes shitty.
I think.
Go ahead.
We were kind of talking earlier about stand up and like crafting it and stuff. I think this is one reason I always kind of looked at comedy. I always thought it was interesting because I think comedy is a great way of it's connecting with people. Like when you're doing well, it's what you're saying is resonating with what they're. You know what I mean? Like. And you see, like, how that's evolved. Like, in the 80s, it's Seinfeld, like, what's the deal with airplane food? And everyone's like, oh, yeah, airplane food is of a lesser quality than regular food. That's something I encounter all the time. And then now you have dudes more, like, now it's starting to go into stuff like Louis C.K.'s, like, art kids, like, my kids, I love them so much, but at the same time, they bother me. Yeah. But now you get stuff like, even people talking about, like, if you guys heard Tig Notaro, the set that she did.
I haven't heard it, but I've heard all about
it. Amazing.
That's what I've heard.
I heard all about it, and then I heard it. I'm like, holy shit! And it's just her. I don't know if anyone doesn't know the story. It's like she found out she had breast cancer, and then just did this 30-minute set, and just came out and said that was the first thing she said. Like she's like, thank you. I have breast cancer. Thank you. And she just talks about like how like she got breast cancer, and like before that her mom died, and her girlfriend broke up with her, and she had this like weird stomach disease, and so it was just all this, and so she just started talking about it, and I feel like that's kind of the way stand-up's going now. Is people are kind of talking about like their experiences or what they feel, and it used to be about white people are like this and black people are like
very general ideas.
Yeah, and but it is make you start to think more, and I think that's always the kind of cool thing. So I do think kind of what we were talking about, comedy, if you do a rape joke, you also have to get them to realize you're not being shitty about it.
Yeah, it's like that's always a hard thing to do.
Yeah, I hate rape.
I hate rape, but here's a rape joke.
I'm a rape hater.
Yeah, I mean, a real good comedian can pull it off, like somebody that has the talent to be able to do it. It's like an open micer going up for the first time is probably not going to figure out the best way to tell a rape joke.
And that happens a lot at open mics.
Yeah. Oh man, open mics, like I've noticed, like, and I've even done it too. Like I've
done a lot of the classic shit.
The women hating, is just classic, and it's. And we all do it, and it never goes well.
No.
Like every women, like even like getting down on women, even remotely, those sets do not go well.
Yeah.
The only dude I could ever see, and I mean, I heard he dealt with the struggle. Patrice O'Neal, another one of my favorites.
I love him.
Fuck yeah.
But he would do a lot of stuff that was he would kind of bait them in.
Yeah.
Like he actually does a women hating joke, and it's something about how, like, if you take sex, yeah, you rape our time. Like if you can't take sex from a woman, but she can take your time for you without you wanting to. She's like, so you're raping my time.
Yeah.
You're bullshit. And like it's this crowd. Or there's another bit of his I really like, where he talks about like, so ladies, if your vagina just like got destroyed in like a fire, what would you do to like keep your man? Like, what would you do to keep him around?
Blow job, butt fuck.
Yeah, butt fuck. He's like, okay,
you just described yourself as a series of.
It's like, no, I just want you all to realize you just described yourselves. At no
you didn't
point
say learn to play Xbox.
Yeah.
Find something that he's really into and get into that.
Figure out what this whole MMA thing is.
Yeah.
And the crowd loved it because he like tricked them in that quick way. I mean, I heard he always had mixed results on his shit, but I think you can't and you can pull that off. You can pull off the whole woman hating thing.
Well, Bill Burr has a whole bit about like why it could be acceptable to beat a woman.
That one is always. I've seen a lot of negative reviews on Netflix because of that.
I'm sure
it's a hard bit to sell.
Yes, that is.
But it's hilarious.
Good one.
Like
you go home and she's already got your first kid drowned in the tub, and she's about to drown the second.
Yeah. Well, his was like, it's like there's many reasons in that arc of a story why you would want to, where it's acceptable.
And I support it.
Yeah, but it's,
just saying.
At least then you're finding out. I mean, the people that are super offended by that, I'm sure, are like the minority and just the most vocal. Anybody that's going to write a comment on any fucking thing is have way too much time on their hands. Even if I love something, I don't like. How many podcasts do I listen to and I don't fucking ever like rate and comment on anything, which is horrible. But I don't expect people to do it for me. It's like I realize that the type of person that's going to go in to a Yelp thing and talk shit for like an essay has a lot of free time and really likes to talk shit, like really cares about their food experience. It's like
I've never understood that. Just to like publicly shit on something like that.
Yeah.
Or, if it's really that bad, go whatever.
We've had a couple haters for our podcast.
But they've been lazy haters. Even them, they've been lazy haters. They haven't been like they didn't spam like our comment section or anything like that. It was more of like a passive hate on Twitter type of deal.
Or they just like, oh, you suck? Like that's all they had?
No, it was it was a little bit more schizophrenically like diluted than that, but it it was a while ago, but it's it is what it is. People are fucking. Yeah. It's that the whole thing was it was a lazy thing. It was all done on Twitter. It's like if this guy really hated, then he would have spent the time to like really go into comment sections of things. Yeah. Which maybe he did, and I just never saw it. But it's like, and at the same time, he was kind of he was more well known than we were. So it was it was like whatever. Every time he flipped out was like, oh, we're getting more. It's still attention drawn to what the fuck we're doing. So, like kind of in a weird, demented way, it kind of helped a little bit. But, it's like, what are you going to do? The people that hate are taking a lot of time out of their day to hate. So it's like, they already have problems. Like anybody, even the people that like gush love and everything, like write like smush pieces of everything that you're doing. It's like those people have a little bit of an issue as well to take that much time to like, masturbate onto a blog about how amazing you are.
If hating anyone, like I don't have the energy to look them up. Like if I don't like you, that's pretty much it. Like, I don't like you anymore.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to go through the effort of like listening, like, and he had to listen. People that hated this had to listen to us to give us hate back. Like, they had to study. Lot of dedication.
Yeah, they had to study and they had to do a lot of. It's just that's what people do when they have a lot of fucking free time and they have a lot of anger.
Insane.
Yeah,
that's like fucking sociopath shit.
Yeah, but it whatever. It's, people need help. People need.
Wait,
they're on. Everybody can go online, so you got to deal with those people
Mike
too.
Was he was accusing us of making money?
Yeah, it's like I wish I was fucking making money. This shit costs me tons of money.
Like off of what?
Off of
the Death
Squad network. Like they thought we were like I don't really know exactly the business model they thought was in place, but clearly I didn't know because I didn't make any money. It's because we had gotten a lot of Death Squad comics on here, and talking to a lot of people from the community on Twitter.
That's how we met, and
it's just
like,
delusional. Yeah, it's just delusional.
The community of people that we all knew was through those comedians and those original podcasts.
Because you guys saw something you liked, and you're like, "Oh, let's emulate that and bring that same idea to and actually create something."
Like, we don't do the same thing because, like, neither of us is the Brian. Like, he's the Rogan and Brian of this.
Yeah, pretty
he's
much.
The tech guy, and he's the host.
Yeah,
I'm just the fucking guy that gets drunk and high.
I like to think of us more of like the Your Mom's House. Where I'm like Tom Segura, and I'm trying to run shit, and then Keith is like my other co-host. Yeah, dude, Christina's there you go.
I just kind of started like really listening to it heavily, and I just keep backtracking, like go to old episodes, older and older and older.
Good.
Oh,
so good.
Love that show.
Yeah, it's an epic show, and they're fucking hilarious too.
Oh, dude, yeah. I haven't seen Christina live, but I really want to see her.
Fucking hilarious.
I was telling, we got into there was a. I hang out in Michigan a lot because Toledo's so close to Michigan. So there's, and there was something about, what's her name? Illa Schlesinger? I don't know.
Eliza Schlesinger.
Yeah.
She has a special on Netflix, which is really good.
They're talking about the cover for it is like her basically holding her boobs or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was kind of talking, going back and forth. And like when I think of like Christina Pazsitzky, like I saw her do one of the coolest, like, and I think it's one of her signature bits, but it's when she like lifts up her like shirt and like grabs on it,
pushes out her belly.
That to me is like huge. That's like no woman would ever do that, and she just goes for it, does it night after night, and it's like fuck, that's awesome.
I've got her glamour shot where she's doing that.
So do I.
Like
really?
In the Super Mommy pack,
like the Sears like photo shoot booth thing.
Like, and it's signed. Like I got her album signed. I got that poster. I got Tom's Thrilled album signed, and that all came in a pack for like $25.
Yeah,
it's fucking awesome.
They're fucking awesome, man.
Yeah. Tom came to the Funny Bone. I hope Christina does too, because I know she does a lot of. But actually, I don't know if Tom enjoyed his experience that much. I don't think he liked Toledo that much overall.
What? Like really, you doing comedy? Like, do you want to stay stagnant there, or are you planning to move somewhere? Like eventually.
I definitely want to get out of here eventually. I mean,
where would your destination be?
Ultimately, like the super dream is New York. I've started.
You would rather do in New York than in LA?
Well, actually, I just got GTA 5. And if LA's anything like Los Santos, I want to go to LA, man. I love that game. I've spent the last 2 weeks just playing that game.
It's modeled. You can go to the Comedy Store in GTA
I keep looking
5.
for it. I can't find it.
Yeah, and it's crazy accurate. Like that game came out right when I came back, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I was in that parking lot, and like it's fucking insane. That building in general is like a demented maze of like crazy energy and comedy like that.
Don Baker was talking. He just went out. He's a Toledo guy. He's at the Funny Bone a lot.
He's a Fostoria guy.
Yeah, Fostoria. And it takes him like 40 minutes to get to Toledo. It's nuts. But he's at the Funny Bone every week. So, and he's got to open up some bigger names too. But he just went out to L.A. and he said he fucking. I mean, he didn't love the city. He's like, I love the store though. He's like, if I could get the city of Denver with the comedy scene from L.A.
Well, yeah,
that's perfect city.
Yeah, L.A. fucking is horrible. I hate fucking L.A. I hate it.
Yeah,
it's horrible. I hate it. But when I came back, I was like I would almost live there just because of the Comedy Store, and I'm not even a comedian. Just to go hang out there is fucking awesome.
I thought New York too. Like that'd be the ultimate dream. But like that New York thing, I've been like kind of analyzing it. I think more of it is I would love to just be a fucking New Yorker. You know what I mean? To like just cut it out. To be like walking like out of a subway and like Louis at the beginning of the Louis show. I mean, just that cool. And like New York, I hear there's way more opportunities to get up. You can just
that's why Ari. Yeah, that's why Ari moved there. Because the volume of times that he could get up a night.
That's really what I kind of want now. I mean, the problem is, like Keith was saying, we closed down the Tuesday open mic. We have that one showcase on Wednesday, but
that's
Bergman runs that. But he makes sure, he makes sure you don't get on more than once, just so like new people, can get on and you're not doing the same jokes every time. And then sometimes you can get guest spots at the Bone, but those are limited. I mean, you can,
that's so limited, and it's really like,
and the audience is a little different. I mean, it's people going out to see, like we were kind of talking about, like they may not necessarily want to see what I got.
Comedy show, generic comedy show.
But they're just the rich people from Perrysburg.
Yeah, and they
can be Fat Fish Blue, and they're like, oh, there's comedy tonight. Why don't we go eat in there and just pay a couple bucks extra?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's gonna be interesting to see because the next couple lineups are all like black comics.
Well,
so I want to see they pull in a big urban crowd at the Funny Bone too.
I've always said around here, any really white area, black comics, like we said earlier, just over better.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because it's people like almost living their fantasy of like
having a black friend.
The white person fantasy of like actually living in the ghetto. Like that's their escape. They're like, I saw a black comic once. He was hilarious.
Well, and you think like, Dave Chappelle and stuff, it's huge like white, college students when it came out. So it's like the audience of white people that love black comics is huge compared to like black society liking white comics.
Chappelle is like one of my favorite of all time. I would if I had ever if anyone that's probably he's like the dude I remember first watching. Like when I think of comedy, like I kind of knew about Seinfeld growing up, but like I didn't know anyone specific. Dane Cook's album came out when I was in high school. Everyone had those albums, so you kind of. Yeah. But then like Dave Chappelle was the first dude I heard that was like, holy shit! Like it was all about stuff. You know what I mean? And I mean it sounds kind of stupid, but I grew up white and Toledo.
Kind of wait! You grew up white?
Yeah.
You weren't always that skin color? That's crazy.
But like,
there's plenty of white dudes that did not grow up white.
That's true. That's Denny Crump. But it was interesting because then I got to see this other world that I was not. Yeah. I had no idea that there was like a black experience. So just then you start going out of your own, like, oh shit, maybe it's not. My life isn't the only thing that exists. You know what I mean? There's other people on this planet besides me, and I just loved. I love his style. I think he's just phenomenal. And honest, like, I heard he's doing okay now in those giant arenas, but I think Dave belongs in a fucking just a little club where he could just fucking do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I'd love to see him at a club, man. That'd be fucking awesome. Or see him in general. I've never seen him live.
Oh, dude, I would love to too. He's just phenomenal.
That oddball thing that they were doing with him and Brody and the Flight of the Conchords and all that shit, that was like a festival, like outdoor, which is super rare for comedy too.
They had one in Detroit. I couldn't make it. I think I had another show that night, but actually I know a couple dudes that they got Adam Deggy from Grand Rapids, Zach Martina from I think he's from Detroit or around that area. They had a couple guys like do some, like a couple opening sets at Oddball. And that was
Azizi. Cool. I know Ren Azizi did one. I know Joey Diaz did one. Yeah. Like there were a lot of different like big name comics that just jump on one or the other.
Yeah.
Like just because they were out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would have been great to see.
Fuck yeah! Oh. Did you guys watch the Flight of the Conchords, that show? When it was
I watched the first season. I haven't watched all the second season, but that show is awesome.
Yeah.
It's Kristen Schaal. I love Kristen Schaal.
She the chick in it?
Yeah. She's the like psycho stalker.
Yeah.
She is so funny all the time.
Is she the voice of she was on 30 Rock for a while too, right?
Yeah, she's
Kenneth's girlfriend.
like the most recent one, the most recent season, or the last season, I think. I haven't watched the last season of that show, but.
And then she also did a voice on Archer for one episode.
Yeah, she's got a very distinctive voice. She's been in Mad Men too. She's been in a lot of. Oh, dude, she's so funny.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. That show was awesome. But that show kind of ended similar to like Dave Chappelle. I mean, not similar as far as them going to Africa, but it was like they hit a huge high, and then it kind of, the last season wasn't bad, but it was, same with Chappelle, like it was kind of like, you could tell that they wanted to do more than what was, you know, it kind of went in this weird direction for both of them. But
yeah. That's the thing about Chappelle, though, too, is he was the guy, and then he's just like, you know what? I don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
And he just walked away. And I think he lives in Ohio, too.
Yeah, he does.
Yep.
Like,
in Yellow Springs.
That's crazy. Just fucking just hangs out. And that's got to be amazing. I mean, but then you hear those stories. I mean, he did on, I forget, maybe For What It's Worth. Is that one of his? I can't remember. But it might be and it's the one where he talks about when people would go up to him and Rick James, bitch.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have my kid with me, man. Leave me alone. Like, I'm just trying to hang out. And I can't even imagine being. That's one thing. Granted, I don't think I'll have to really worry about it, but I don't know if I'd ever want to be famous. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like that just and now famous. What does that even mean?
Yeah,
well, it's the turn it on part of comedy. I don't know if anyone, like, you tell them that you do comedy and they're like, oh, make me laugh, and you're like, well, that is the most inflammatory thing. Like,
it's always hard.
If I tell you, if I ask you what you do for a living and you say you're an auto mechanic, I don't say, all right, well, rebuild my engine real quick.
Yeah.
The fuck do you mean make me laugh?
And it's so weird because, like, I always tell them, like, I mean, I'll talk to you for a little bit and hopefully we can find. So I don't know you, though, and I'm not going to just take my act and then we're in, you know, a subway. I'm not going to just try to pretend I'm on stage.
It's like telling an actor, it's like, reenact your part from that one movie. Just do the whole thing. Yeah. It's like, it doesn't, this is not the context in which you're going to, this doesn't work like this. Yeah.
Hey, Tom Hanks, here's a baseball. Go just Wilson. Just start yelling Wilson and tear up your clothes. Like, no, dude.
I love that scene, man. I love that scene where you knocked your tooth out with the ice skate. Can you do it? Here,
do
I
it
got
again.
an ice skate.
Do it again. Like, no, bro. Leave me alone.
Yeah. I've never had my
how many times do you get someone telling you a joke and going, hey, you can use that? It's like, I mean, it's so cliche to even say that because so many comics have talked about it, but it really happens all the time.
I get people telling me what to draw and paint all the time. Or what to talk about on my podcast. It's like, or you should do a podcast about fucking marijuana, man. You should just talk about weed all the time. It's like, yeah, okay.
It's great. It's the best thing
like,
ever.
I don't know if I could fill like a lot of time. I don't know how much I could talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
We had the guy on. We had Adam Scorgi on from the Union.
Yeah.
Like, what more do you want?
What the fuck off?
Yeah, and we had Gino from LA Speedweed. It's like that was a super in-depth weed discussion. I mean, but yeah, I can't. It's like, you know, people that aren't like in the process of doing, like, when you're in the process of like creating jokes or artwork or whatever, you know, you've created, and there's been births and deaths of so many projects you've worked on that you see the long game more than the short game, and just one stupid idea is not like, it's like, oh, that's what I've been waiting for. Like, it's so hard for me to come up with fucking ideas. Thank you for giving me this shitty one, and I'm going to be a millionaire now.
I want to hear this right now. Make this.
Yeah.
Do this.
Also,
it's the fast food generation. They're just like, hey,
definitely.
You know what would be awesome if you had a joke about this? Now go.
Yeah. Well, and they don't know the process. It's like talking to a carpenter. You should build me a house, man. It's like, well, you know, that's a process, you know?
Yeah. Also, for me, I think it's also arrogance. A little bit on my part. Just if I even if someone like suggests a tag for me, like another comic, I feel weird about using that.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't write it.
Yeah.
I want to say I wrote everything. Like, I just want to be that egotistical asshole and just be like, this is mine. So if I get something from someone else, it's just like, look, I'm not gonna. Yeah. Even if I had come to that conclusion on my own, now I can't because I know you came up with it and you told me. So.
And then they'll probably use that against you. They're like,
exactly.
I gave that one.
Yeah, but people could use it against you if you did take it. You know, it's like, depending on the person, they could always just constantly hold that over your head. It's like, I told them that. Like, they wouldn't have had that joke if not for me. So it's
but it's not. I mean, but there's also a difference than like if someone's helping you with a joke, like, oh, I don't know if you should keep that in or da da da. But like I've had dudes just give me a line, and it's like I love that. Like I had a bit about how like in the Beatles. I had a bit about how it's stupid to say that you like the Beatles or like it's your favorite band because everyone fucking loves the Beatles. Like that's just a stupid. They're the best band of all time. Your favorite band can't be the best fucking band of all time. And I didn't really have a way to wrap it up. And my friend Owen Thomas gave me the Beatles are the bacon of music.
Yeah.
So everyone loves bacon. Everyone loves the Beatles. I'm like, I love that line, but it's almost the center of the joke now.
Yeah.
And I can't use that because I didn't write it. Like I love the idea. Plus, like I always say the Beatles are the bacon of, and I always almost say fast food. It's always hard for me to switch to because also I didn't write it. I didn't. That's not my.
It's not
cadence.
Natural. Yeah.
So it's just it would have been a good joke, but it just feels weird to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I enjoy comedy a lot more about when people are talking about things that they're interested in or they're passionate about. Not that jokey jokes are bad, because like I love Mitch Hedberg or Stephen Wright or like an example in Toledo is this dude Brad Wenzel. Wenzel's great, and but he does very like one-liners, and they're very like well constructed and very well timed out. We were kind of talking earlier about dudes with like really dry, slow, monotone delivery. He's kind of got this very disinterested. And it really works out for him. I mean, it's really great.
Yeah, I mean, there's different genres. There's like no right way to do anything. There's multiple ways to do anything. And
there's a lot of wrong ways.
Yeah. But every once in a while,
more wrong ways than right ways.
Yeah, every once in a while, that wrong way could turn into a right way as soon as somebody figures out how to do it. Like somebody doing a backflip on a motorcycle was fucking ridiculous until somebody did it, and now they're doing like 3 and 4. No problem. So it's know. That's the difficult part is figuring a new venue out, but it's there's so many different genres of comedy and people don't fucking know anyway. So it's like comedians would know that like a guy going up on stage shooting out a bunch of one-liners could be similar to a Mitch Hedberg, but most people wouldn't like realize that. Like most people,
I would rather get a compliment from another comedian any day.
Oh yeah.
Than 20 compliments from people in the crowd.
Because it's an educated compliment.
It is
somebody coming from what you do. It's like It's
like if a professional baseball player sees you playing some like men's league softball and just comes up, it's like, "Hey man, you probably could have made it."
Yeah.
Instead of hearing some drunk fuck in the crowd going, "Hey, pretty good." You're like, you're like, fuck off, man.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I could care less. Shut up. Well, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark, brother.
Yeah, man.
Oh, word up.
For sure. So, you want to wrap it up, Keith? You want to just
let's
rappy dappy do? All right. So, where can everybody find you? Where are you online? What's your social marketing look like at this point in time?
Facebook, it's Mike S as in Sam, Z as in Zebra, AR, and then my Twitter is @thatMikeZar. Yeah. I've been trying to tweet much. I've been so shitty at Twitter. I kind of hate Twitter. I really only put my thing out, and then I don't read anyone else's.
Yeah.
So if you think I'm kind of funny when you hear me say things, but unless you tweet directly at me, I'm not gonna read most things. So I just
tweet directly at him and let him know how much you enjoyed him on the show.
If you're on Facebook, I will follow the shit out of you, and I'll look at your baby pictures. I do like Facebook so much better, and I don't mind looking at baby pictures like, oh, that's fucking crazy. You made this. That's fucking nuts.
I think it's gross.
Yeah, it's like, you used to be a cool person.
That's vaginal discharge to me.
Weird, like, oh shit, dude! I remember you used to pick your nose and eat it, and now this.
No, he's gonna do it. You're
babies stole friends.
Yeah, they took all my friends.
I fucking hate babies. They stole all my friends and all my drinking buddies.
You just gotta wait a little longer until the kids start drinking, and then you got new drinking buddies.
Yeah.
Babies are thieves.
They're worse.
Steal your iPhone.
Yeah, they will.
Sweet, man. Well, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me,
bro. Yeah, we'll have to have you back on at some point and,
catch
up with you, see what's going on. Keith?
You're on the December show.
All right, yeah, man.
December
Comedy at the Q. December 6th, Comedy at the Q.
Put on my phone right now.
Go check out Comedy at the Q on Facebook. Like them. Check them out. Follow Keith
show, man.
on Twitter at Keith Spurlock1. Follow him on Facebook if you want to.
So far, that show, I've got Bergman, Reese Leonard, and you.
Nice. That'd be fun. That'd be a fun lineup.
And I think Tom's going to come back. TJ's going to come back.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Yeah, I haven't seen that dude in fucking forever.
That'll be his first show back.
Sweet. Oh yeah, he's been gone for a while.
Yeah, if anyone wants to run my show and I can just perform at it, call me.
If somebody wants to help Keith out, where he can give you all the responsibility and so you can run it, fuck yeah, man. I'm sure there's somebody. There's got to be somebody out there that wants, that's what they want to do. You know?
Dealing with comedians, they're so flaky. We're just like any other artist. I had 3 people cancel this last show day of.
I don't even schedule for this podcast. This isn't a comedy show. This is a podcast, and it's I have somebody else do it because I don't want to have to deal with that.
I had my DJ and 3 comics out of 7 cancel all at once, and then luckily it was Owen and Jake were on the same show, so I was like, hey. Go for a half hour.
Yeah. Fuck.
And both of those guys can do it.
Yeah, they're good.
And then I don't know if you've ever played with Justin Sullivan. He's a guitarist.
Yeah, actually, I played with him.
That dude's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, really funny dude. Really nice guy.
Yeah, real nice guy. Him and Matt Vanderpool were the other ones.
Oh, so cool,
they filled out the show, and then I was just going to DJ because my DJ wasn't there, and I was going to have Matt MC.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
Just to fill out the show, and I hadn't really written anything new.
Yeah.
And then my whole family showed up, and 3 comics ditched out. So then I had to MC with no preparation.
Oh, man.
I hadn't even thought of anything because my plan was to not. I was just going to run the show.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
So then I had to go up there, and it's like my dad had never seen me do comedy yet.
Jesus.
I went up there, I made fun of him a little, and I just did not feel great about the whole outcome of that show.
Yeah.
Just because it was one of those, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
And then I got so drunk that night that I pissed all over not the toilet that night.
Not the toilet.
Everywhere but the toilet is where you pissed.
Everywhere.
Not even the bathroom. We'll just put it that way.
I have that part of the house.
I have some part of the house, maybe some part of the house. A lot of possibilities of what actually happened.
You
get
theories. You get down to that tribal raw thing, and you're just marking your territory. You don't want to forget where you live.
Tried to blame. I've got 3 cats, and I really tried to blame at least one of them on them, but I had to take blame for at least one of them.
Yeah.
Poor Keith.
I peed, and then the cats tried to match me. Is all I'm going for.
Yeah. They saw me do it.
It was a competition, and clearly I've got the bigger swinging dick.
What? To my old cat's litter box just to teach him a lesson. But I was so drunk that I didn't realize that I am the one that cleans the litter box, not the cat.
It is like this cat litter brick that you just pull out.
Yeah, of how much more a human actually urinates than a cat.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Keith once again proves he is still a child.
That's crazy.
Still working on the whole adult thing.
I did this 5 years ago, but
that's right.
I was 27 at the time.
Yeah. I judge him. You can judge him too. It's fine.
I did. All right.
Yeah.
Keith Spurlock 1 on Twitter.
Boom. At Ray Taylor. Check out Inspired Disorder podcast. Or fucking check out what you're listening to. If you haven't checked out this episode, go check out this episode. #shows.com. Check out all the comics, Death Squad comics and things. See where they're playing, when they're playing, all that shit. Support stand-up comedy, support #shows.com. Go to InspiredDisorderCollective.com. Sign up. Check out all the other podcasts, part of the network. And if you go to inspireddisorder.com, you can buy whatever the fuck you want, save 10%, use coupon code INSPIRED at checkout. Fucking great show, guys.
Fucking do it, bitches.
Fucking do it. See you all later. Peace out.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Inspired Disorder podcast. Embedded signals within this podcast have reprogrammed your natural thinking patterns. Side effects may include lack of inhibitions, erectile dysfunction, anal leakage, transcendental communication with beings from 4 of the 7 primary dimensions. In the event of a tear in space-time, please keep your hands down and feet together. Any loss of life or limbs due to interdimensional travel is not the responsibility of this podcast.